Hey, sports porchers, it's your hockey Jesus with Game 63 Pittsburgh Penguins versus the Edmonton Oilers. Well, you're in seat today for another afternoon matinee on Sunday, the second of a back to back. And unfortunately, we get the same terrible results. That's right, your Pittsburgh Penguins lose this afternoon to Edmonton 4-0. This time they don't even get a garbage goal. It's just a plain old shutout in front of home fans. Woo! Those fans are really dying for a goal in Pittsburgh, I can tell you. But hey, you stop by the porch, smash that subscribe button. Let's stick around for a while and let's analyze what's going on with the Pittsburgh Penguins, because it's not good. Well, Pittsburgh Penguins fans, another afternoon of hockey and another afternoon of disappointment. Pittsburgh came out and from almost the very beginning, pretty much the first shift, you could tell that nothing has really changed with this Pittsburgh Penguins team in 24 hours. I was looking at some of the other media out there that's covering the team, and seeing what they're saying, and minus the traders out there talking about Crosby, how he's going to be leaving and all that. Look, anybody who has a headline, Sidney Crosby leaving Penguins, just don't even click on it. It's just pure clickbait. It's just pure garbage. You've come to the sports porch because I'm going to give you the real analysis. Look, there's some guys out there giving you analysis of what's going on and what's going to happen with this rebuild, retool, and all of that stuff. These guys are the ones you want to stick with. The hockey Jesus included in that, because I'm not going to give you any clickbait. I'm going to give you the real story about what's going on and my analysis of what I see is happening on the ice and off the ice. I think it's only fair to you when you give me 10 minutes of your time throughout the day that I give you fair and balanced analysis. Tonight, look, I hate to say this, but Letang just wasn't ready to play tonight. I don't know if he didn't push his alarm up and he got to the rink an hour late. I don't know what happened, but I can tell you that pass to McDavid across the middle, and I know there was analysis of it 10 ways. You just look at that and you're like, what is he doing? Why does he think he has to make that play? And I think the problem is he's not thinking. I think he's just doing whatever feels right. And right now, nothing feels right about these Penguins. Look, it was nice to get Brian Rust back in the lineup tonight. Definitely, he was a shot out of a cannon in the first period. But by the time the third period came around, you could tell he was already demoralized after skating on that ice with the other Penguins for the last 60 minutes. That between him and Bunning in that first period, I thought maybe they could get something going. But after that pass to McDavid, he's going to bury that every time. Connor McDavid is just never going to miss that goal, and he didn't. He buried it. There's nothing Jerry can do about that. He can try and make a nice save, but let's face it, McDavid's the best in the world probably at scoring the puck right now, and he didn't miss on that one. You fast forward a little bit, and the Penguins get a power play, and you're pretty excited. You hope he can do it, and Sid tries to make a cross ice pass, and that's it. That's the end of the power play. They never really get the puck back into the zone on there. And I think that's the problem right now with this team. Their superstars are just not mentally in the game. I don't know if they've cashed out. I don't know if they've just not been in a situation like this where they've got pretty much a quarter of the season left to play and they know they're pretty much out of it. Look, the Penguins will have to go 12-3-4 the rest of the season in order to make the playoffs. And I know, as a competitor who's played sports before and not nearly to the level of these NHLers, these guys just have to just be thinking, what is going on? What's wrong? Because they're playing the same system they've always played, and it's just absolutely failing them right now. Um, they finished the rest of the period. Honestly, they could have left that period 4-0. Draisaitl misses an open net, which rarely happens, and I think he did it twice or maybe three times this game. They could have easily. Jari made a couple nice saves. They could have easily been down 4-0 at the end of the first period. Honestly, I think they were lucky to get out of that period 2-0. And the second period comes along, and honestly, it was just a meh period. It's one of those periods where the Penguins do a pretty good job of mucking up the zone. I thought they did a pretty good job of slowing down Connor McDavid. That guy is incredibly fast, and he didn't look terribly fast tonight. I don't know what's up with Draisaitl. He didn't look particularly great. I know, he was on a 5-game point scoring streak coming in. That being said, I think McDavid still got 3 or 4 points tonight. He didn't look incredibly dominating, which is just what a top-notch player does every night. They're out there, they're getting assists if they're not scoring, and they're making plays. And that's what Edmonton did. Then at the end of the second period, look, I was happy that Ludwig went over. I know he probably shouldn't have gotten that 2-minute penalty. They could have had a 4-minute power play. But hey, I'm happy somebody at least is stepping up and saying, look, I'm going to at least try and get somebody excited about something. When Ludwig grabbed that guy and punched him around, but look, Vogel probably is not a guy who's a fighter. So, that was kind of, maybe it was a little bit amateurish of Ludwig, but that's what Ludwig does. That's what he's going to do. He sees something happening. One of his superstars get a stick in the face. It looked like he was kind of standing over him with the stick in him. He's like, no, you're not going to do that. I'm going to grab you and I'm going to punch you. And that's what he did. He did get a penalty for it. Fortunately, they did still get a 2-minute power play, which led to nothing. Russ came down near the end of the period and kind of ran the goalie over. It was the right call, no doubt about that. But the stuff you saw at the end of the second period, that was all Corey Perry trying to get over to Brian Russ. Look, Corey Perry, Edmonton they're going to need him. I think Edmonton's a little soft, to be honest with you. They don't seem to like to hit much. And they got to go through some tough teams. They got to go through Vegas. They got to probably go through Colorado. I don't know if they're tough enough to do it, but Corey Perry will be a guy who will stick up for him. And that's what was happening at the end of the period. Corey Perry came over and skated, wanted to say something to Rust, and Sid kind of got in the way. And, then you see Bunning kind of skate over. That's what Bunning will do. He's never going to let that happen. You saw that happen near the end of the game, too, when Sid kind of got involved with that jabroni defenseman guy. You saw Bunning come skating in pretty quickly. That's what we need. We need Sid to get excited about something, and we need Bunning to come in and take care of some garbage. And if Ludwig's out there, he should be over there grabbing guys too. Sid should play with emotion. Sid should not be the guy grabbing guys. I know Sid did tackle a guy there at the end of the second period, but that was just out of show. He was just trying to get him off because I believe he was trying to get at Rust also. Look, that was probably the most excitement. There was some good play in the third period. I'm going to give it to the Pens. They came out shooting, and they came out looking like they wanted to get a goal. And once again, Picard looks like the next Patrick Roy, and he makes all the saves. He made all the saves tonight, except for whatever that minute he was out because Russ ran him over. They took him out. They thought, just to check him for a concussion. And he was back in the third period. Other than that, that was really it. The Pens showed a little bit of sign of life. Look, they're skating, they're trying. They're just not phoning it in. The Penguins are definitely trying to score goals. I think, here's the analysis of the Pittsburgh Penguins over the last few games. Grubauer started this whole thing back in Seattle when he shut him out 2-0. And after that game, if you, I hate to go back this far because this is how bad it's been for this long. Markstrom only had a .900 save percentage against the Penguins, but that was that third period meltdown where the Penguins decided not to play the third period and they lose 4-3, and then Picard does a number on them when they went up to Edmonton. He had a .957 save percentages. Thank God they got to play against the Columbus Blue Jackets in between then. That was the only saving grace. Greaves for Columbus had an .839 save percentage. That was the only win we've had in all these games. And then look, Lindgren comes in from Washington, shutout. We go up to Boston. Olmark, 974 save percentage, lose in Boston 5-1. And then today, again, Picard in Edmonton, another shutout. Look, the Pittsburgh Penguins have one goal scored in the last 119 shots. Yes, let me say that again. The Pittsburgh Penguins have one goal in 119 shots. That is just ridiculous. That's a system meltdown. And part of the problem is a lot of these goals, a lot of these shots that they're getting, they're not necessarily always from the slot. You don't see a lot of secondary chances. And that's the problem with the Pittsburgh Penguins. They don't seem to have either the right system in place or the right guys in the right spots, getting to the right rebounds. You know, Sid mentioned this yesterday in his analysis of that Boston game. He said, you know, we're getting the shots. We're just not getting the energy to get there, to get to the secondary shots. And I think he's right. I think there's definitely something to that. But I think there's something wrong with the system that allows that many shots and doesn't allow that many goals. And I think that's going to be the problem with the Pittsburgh Penguins moving forward. Look, their top-notch guys have to start getting it going. Sid, another -3. That's not acceptable. Sid's got to become the leader of this team again. He's got to get his head together when they play the Senators. Look, they only are getting a night off the rest of the time. A lot of games to go. Pittsburgh Penguins lose tonight, this afternoon, to Edmonton 4-0. They'll be back at it against the Ottawa Senators, who are not in the playoffs. So I don't really know what that means, but I do know that the Penguins will be on the ice on, I believe it's, let's see, they get off tomorrow, so that means it's a Tuesday night game for the Pittsburgh Penguins. So, Pittsburgh Penguins fans, you gotta keep the faith. No matter what you do, smash that logo, hit that subscribe button, share this with your friends, and remember to let's go Pens.